Japan's biggest lie ever. And no, it's not about toilet seats that greet you. It's the fact that every Japanese sports car from the 1990s was officially rated at 280 horsepower, even though everyone knew that number was about as real as anime physics. Back in the early 90s, Japan's streets were turning into full-time action movie sets. Illegal street racing was exploding. Bosoku gang members were causing chaos. And the government was starting to panic. So, the big manufacturers made a quiet gentleman's agreement. No car would exceed 280 horsepower or 180 kilometers per hour. On paper, it sounded like a noble attempt to keep things safe. But here's the hilarious part. The agreement wasn't really about limiting speed. It was about hiding it. Cars like the Nissan GTR, Toyota Supra, and Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution all pretended to be well behaved, politely listing 280 horsepower while secretly pushing 300 or more on the dyno without breaking a sweat. Car mod trends I cannot stand. Starting with de-badging. And I don't mean taking off the 4 Series badge so people think it's an M4. Nah, I mean a full identity wipe. The car ends up looking naked, confused, and honestly kinda sad. Next up, squatted trucks. Front end sticking up like the car skipped leg day, back end scraping the earth. It's not a mod, it's a cry for help. Nothing about that stance says cool. Then we've got scissor doors on cars they absolutely do not belong on. A Camaro should not open like a Lamborghini. That's not style, that's a midlife crisis with hinges. And finally, tinted headlights. Why spend thousands on fancy LEDs just to blindfold them? It's like wearing sunglasses at night and wondering why you can't see. Audi's F1 journey is officially underway. They just revealed the R26 concept. Its first real preview of the car they'll bring to Formula 1 in 2026. Audi made it clear at their Munich event. They're not buying parts. They're building a full F1 car from scratch. They even bought the Sauber team and hired top talent like former Ferrari boss Mattia Binotto, with just over 2 months until the first real test. Audi is deep into developing its hybrid system and battery to meet the 2026 rules, which demand almost half the power come from electricity and the engine run on synthetic fuel. The final machine, officially the Audi R26, will race under Revit Audi F1. Early prototypes will be tested privately in Spain, then in Bahrain as the 2026 season approaches.
Subscribe!
Audi just did something insane! What is the safest car on Earth? If you ask engineers, crash test experts, or anyone who's ever researched safety ratings, the answer almost always circles back to Volvo. The brand built its reputation by treating safety as a responsibility, not a marketing angle. Volvo invented the 3-point seatbelt, the most important life-saving feature in automotive history, and then made the patent free so every other car maker could use it. That mindset still drives the company today. Modern Volvos are engineered with ultra-strong safety cages, precisely designed crumple zones, and interiors built to shield passengers from every direction. Their cars use advanced radar, cameras, and sensors to constantly scan the road and help prevent accidents before they happen. And while most brands run the required crash tests, Volvo goes far beyond, performing thousands of real and virtual tests each year to push safety even further. So when people call Volvo the safest car ever,
Subscribe!
It's not an exaggeration. Every Porsche 911 from the 992 generation, let's go! We start with the Carrera and Carrera T, both using a 379 horsepower twin-turbo 3.0-litre flat 6. The T is the lightweight, more focused, manual-friendly option. Next up, the Carrera 4 and 4S add all-wheel drive. The 4 stays at 379 horsepower, while the 4S jumps to 443 horsepower for an extra push. The Carrera S also sits at 443 horsepower and is the sweet spot for balanced performance. Then comes the GTS, 473 horsepower with sharper suspension, giving I might gap a supercar energy. Now the heavy hitters, the Turbo at 572 horsepower and the Turbo S with a wild 640 horsepower, launching to 60 in just 2.6 seconds. Finally, the track stars, the GT3 with a screaming 502 horsepower 4.0 litre NA flat 6, and the GT3 RS dialing in up to 518 horsepower with enough aero to make your face peel back.
Why do speedometers show insane numbers your car will never hit? You hop into a regular family car and the gauge confidently stretches to 160 miles per hour. Meanwhile, the fastest you're legally going, unless you live on the Autobahn, is basically grandma speed. So why the overkill? Turns out, it's not just for flexing. There are two simple reasons. First, putting the top number way up at 160 miles per hour means your everyday cruising speed, around 60 to 70 miles per hour, sits right in the middle of the dial. Your eyes naturally snap to center, making it easier to read your actual speed quickly without thinking. Second, some countries straight up require speedometers to display numbers higher than the car can physically achieve. Manufacturers just follow the rules, even if the number looks like wishful thinking. And sure, marketing doesn't hurt either. A car that goes to 160 just feels faster, even if it really doesn't.
Have you ever noticed Dodge has a weird obsession with animals? Think about it, the Dodge Hellcat, Dodge Ram, Dodge Viper, Dodge TRX, even the Jeep Trackhawk. Yeah, it's basically a Dodge in disguise. They've got the Hellfant crate engine, and the Scat Pack logo literally has a bee on it. At this point, Dodge is one endangered species away from running a whole zoo. But the real question is, who's winning in a showdown? 10 Supras or 1 Bugatti? Remember, 100k subscribers, and I'm buying a G82 M4. Forget horsepower, let's talk downforce. These cars don't just grip the road, they basically Velcro themselves to it. The Aston Martin Valkyrie AMR Pro. This is the Valkyrie after hitting the gym for 6 months straight. Over 3,000 pounds of downforce, enough grip to drive upside down in a tunnel. Next, the Brabham BT62. Australia said, hold my beer, and built a track weapon with 2,600 pounds of downforce. Corners stop being corners and start being roller coaster loops. It yeets you harder than a carnival ride operated by someone on their lunch break. Then, the McMurtry Sperling. Small car, massive ego. It literally uses fans to vacuum itself to the ground. Nearly 5,000 pounds of downforce at 150 miles per hour. It sweeps the track while bullying hypercars that cost more than your entire neighborhood. And finally, the Rodin FZ, the final boss, 8,800 plus pounds of downforce. That's more weight pushing it down than the car even weighs. It's like flying a jet fighter built for the road. Toyota just announced their third ever hypercar, and honestly, it's insane. Back in 1967, they gave us the 2000 GT. 150 horsepower of pure look-at-me vibes. Basically, one of the first supercars. Then in 2010, they went bigger with the Lexus LFA, a 4.8-litre V10 packing 550 horsepower that screamed, I have arrived. Now, Toyota is back at it with a brand new hypercar. A twin-turbo V8 pushing over 900 horsepower and looking a little like it might have borrowed style tips from the Mercedes-AMG Black Series. The real question is, can your driveway handle this much awesome? And more importantly, will you be brave enough to buy it? These illegal car mods could turn your regular ride into a full-on Batmobile. We're talking mods so over the top, your car might as well have a stealth mode. Starting light with painting the car in Vanta Black, the blackest black known to science. Paired with ultra-dark window tint and boom! Your car basically becomes a moving shadow after sunset. Then there's the blackout license plate trick matched with a radar detector. At that point, you're weaving through speed traps like you have cheat codes activated. But it gets wilder. Some folks mount insanely bright rear flashlights to blind tailing drivers, or even install smoke screen systems to disappear like a magician in a high-speed chase. And topping the list off, please don't do this, the Portac H2 hack. A device capable of opening gates, controlling garage doors, even flipping traffic lights in your favor. Have you ever wondered why almost every Lamborghini name sounds like the name of a battle-ready bull? The Huracan, the Aventador, and a ton of others all trace back to legendary Spanish fighting bulls. But why? Back in the 60s, Ferruccio Lamborghini visited a famous bull breeding ranch in Spain. After seeing the raw power and fearless attitude of these animals, and since his zodiac sign was Taurus, he decided the bull perfectly represented his brand. From that moment on, the bull became the official symbol, and the cars started carrying those names too. The Aventador, named after a legendary bull, celebrated for its courage in 1993. The Murcielago, inspired by a bull that survived 24 sword strikes in the ring. And the Gallardo, named after one of the original bloodlines used to breed Spanish fighting bulls.